I was just looking online today, and I happened to come across an article by Legendary Pictures. Now, it says that apparently Legendary Pictures, Warner Brothers, and I think because Universal sold the rights of King Kong to Warner Brothers so that way they could do this. Apparently, here's their roster. Kong Skull Island will be released on 2017, which I think is weird because of the fact that they have John Goodman, Samuel L. Jackson, Tom Hiddleston, and Brie Larson. Godzilla 2, which will have Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah in it as well, is slated for 2018. Now, the article also says today that Warner Brothers and Legendary announced for 2020 Godzilla vs. Kong. What the hell? Oh my god, I'm going nuts over this. I'm going nuts. Okay, let's see here, but that's not all. They also said that they're going to incorporate other monsters, old and new. And the article goes on to take a stab that Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah might show up. Well, I'm already sold. I mean, the movie hasn't even come out yet, and I'm already sold. Oh my, holy shit. This is going to be nuts. Like, you've got, and the whole thing is surrounded by Monarch. Monarch has already been confirmed to be in the new Kong movie, which Monarch was the organization Ken Watanabe and Sally Hawkins had started in Godzilla. And oh my god, this is gonna be nuts. Okay, here's my basis for King Kong vs. Godzilla. A lot of people over the years have said that King Kong vs. Godzilla deserved a proper King Kong vs. Godzilla deserves a proper remake because it was done in 1962, and the way it was done was Willis O'Brien was originally gonna produce King Kong vs. Frankenstein. And he takes it. He's having trouble financing it, and he's been sick, and he finds this guy by the name of John Beck, and the guy's like, well, okay, I'll see what I can do with it. And he's going everywhere, and all the studios in the U.S. turn him down. But then he's thinking, oh, why don't I take it international? So he goes across overseas, and he gets a hold of Toho. And Toho's going to do it, but they're going to do Godzilla vs. Frankenstein instead. But then they're like, wait, hang on a second. And they talk with E.G. Tsuburaya. And Tsuburaya sits down with Tanaka and Honda, and he's like, well, the whole reason we even did Godzilla anyway is because of King Kong. Well, if we can do King Kong versus Godzilla, like, the whole world's gonna explode. So, but they're thinking, okay, well, now what do we do with it? So Beck convinces them to buy the entire rights to Kong for, I think it was about $8 million or something like that. It was an outrageous price. It was about a good 7/10 of their entire budget, or it was something like that. So they buy King Kong, and they use whatever money they have left to fork up an Abbott and Costello routine type guys, and then I forget the guy's name too, but he plays Taco in the movie. They call him the Japanese Charlie Chaplin because of how physical he can be. So because of how expensive King Kong was, that's why the movie budget-wise failed. And then Beck came back over to the U.S. and he sells it off to Universal. And now he's got complete creative control over it. And over the years, there have been so many lawsuits with the King Kong name saying Willis O'Brien thought he owned it. Merson C. Cooper thought he owned it. And Merson C. Cooper had actually sued John Beck thinking that he owned the property. And Universal like, oh, well, that reverted to Willis O'Brien, who, by the way, passed away. So that which was a sad case, don't get me wrong, but I just think this is ridiculous. So the movie failed, and well, it was a box office hit. But if you look at it now, it's so cheesy. I think it's even cheesier than Godzilla vs. Megalon, and a lot of people have been bashing that one too over the years because of the fact that I did the same thing with that when in 1976 AIP had bought the international rights, or it was one of those guys, CinemaShare had bought the international rights, and they did a huge campaign, Vote Godzilla for President. I actually have one of those buttons too, Vote Godzilla for President. And yeah, that's the one that most people saw, but then when when VHS time came around, a lot of people must have thought it was public domain, so here you are sitting with about 3,000 different copies of Godzilla vs. Megalon. But now, Legendary Pictures somehow found a way, with or without Toho's consent. I have no idea how the hell this one is going to work. Because first of all, Toho owns the rights, so they have to give them the okay for everything they do. Which they would probably be on board with it because of the fact that that they've been trying to push a King Kong versus Godzilla, but they're probably thinking to themselves, how in the hell did the Americans get this to work and we couldn't? So they're gonna be jumping at their throats, being like, oh yeah, you need to do this and that and this and that and this, and with all of them. Okay, and then the same deal with King Kong. I don't know how the international movie rights go. All I know is the fact that King Kong, the book rights and the television rights and the commercial rights and the film rights are all owned by so many different people. So they could have a mess on their hands there. So now there's that, and then there's the scale problem. Godzilla is 359 feet tall in this film. Originally, I heard that Kong Skull Island was supposed to be a sequel or a prequel to Jackson's film. He was 25 feet tall in that movie, so how the hell are they going to get this to work? So maybe they'll beef him up this time. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. All I know is it's a representation of Skull Island and Monarch is involved. That's all I know. But the fact that they're going to make it work somehow is enough to get me stoked. But now they're probably going to make King Kong 300 feet tall, and like they have to do it now. They have to do it because if they don't, like, how the heck are they gonna get it to work? Like, you can't just bring in somebody and have them give them a potion and go whoop, just like some Jaguar shit. Oh shit. So yeah, they kind of screwed themselves over now. So now I don't know what size they were originally slated them for, but go figure. So I'm just stoked by the fact that now I get to see King Kong beat the shit out of King Ghidorah. I'm gonna go nuts when that hits the screen. Like I said, movie hasn't even come out yet. I already have the tickets. I just thought it was an interesting piece I wanted to share this morning. Oh wow. Wow.